lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. Indeed. And there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video. Now, I am joined by Anthony Riley. How you doing, Anthony? Good to have you.
Can you hear
once
me?
more. Didn't hear you for the screaming. My bad.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I'm still here.
Excellent. So the main reason for me running the show is because I think there's a glitch with my Hangouts at the moment, so I want to test it. So it's worth having a bit of a conversation just with you, just to, catch up on the morning's events. I know you had something to tell me, so as long as you're happy telling me about it live, it'll chew out this show.
Yeah, Miles the Liar Davis is going to have to be ripped a new one in this show that we're going to do this afternoon, because the guy's telling pork pies again. And there was a hangout with Roxanne, the globalist denier, last night that was really, really good. It was a little bit dry because it was quite heavy on the law in terms of what we can and can't do. But I've revealed, and I touched on it yesterday at the end of your show, but you cut it off like prematurely because you had to go and do something more important. I don't know what's more important than the law, but anyway.
No, I didn't. So I carried on recording, went and got my car fixed, or my wife's car fixed, picked her up, and then came back. And then I thought, oh, they'd all long gone, so I stopped the recording and then published it anyway. And I thought I'd edited out the silence in the end, although it's still there. But it got broadcast, so it got broadcast this morning, or just literally about, 20 minutes ago. So that discussion, I did get to listen to it, literally like an audience member. It was really, really weird, but yeah, I listened to your conversation yesterday with Roxanne, and Adam was there as well for the first part at least.
Anyway, we revealed that I've realised that there is like some legislation that Flat Earth needs to be aware of that we're able to utilise to be able to get the word out to the schools that there is an alternative view, and it's really worth the schools. Well, it's really worth Flat Earth in general knowing that this legislation's there, because without knowing this legislation's there, we can't do anything. Knowing that the legislation's there, doors open, big doors open, and we can take big footsteps into any of the schools legally, and basically do what we think is fair, which is offer a balanced alternative perspective to what we're told in the heliocentric model, of course. And that, without knowing that information, means that we're limited, but now knowing that we can do it means that we're unlimited. We can do this, and it's basically to encourage people to give us some ideas on what we should do and how we should do it, because this is new. It opens doors that previously were shut by our own ignorance. It's not the case anymore. Now we know that there's a door there that can be opened, and we're going to open it. It's a case of opening Pandora's box, as it were. So it's a case of what do we do and how do we do it? And hopefully we're going to get some movement in the next couple of days, and we'll find out what we should be doing. But nonetheless, the point is that there is a law there that we can utilise, and we'll get our voices heard finally. So it's all good.
So did I hear correctly when you said yesterday that Conspiracy Cats, when he was doing, presumably it was GCSE and A-level science, I think the channel was, that was literally a direct reaction to some of the students talking to him about Flat Earth. Is that correct?
Yeah. He did tell me at the time, and I didn't realise the significance of what he told me at the time until very recently. I knew at the time that the head had given him permission to do this outside of his contractual hours, but representing the school. And I didn't really pay any attention to it. I just thought, oh, well, he's just had to do it out of courtesy, just to make sure that he's not going to get in any trouble. I didn't realise that there was any legal significance to it, because I didn't have any reason to think there might be. But when I was doing, like I say, I'm doing this legal research, trying to look at all the angles to see what laws are out there. And although I've not got laws that are needed or wanted for certain parts, I've realised that there are laws that are in other parts that are relevant. And one of the laws that's relevant is that the teacher, rather the head teacher, not the teacher, the head teacher, has a legal obligation to ensure that a balanced opposing position is presented to children if certain things happen. And those things had happened. And what Conspiracy Cats was doing, courtesy of the school, was complying with the rule, the law, complying with it. Now, the fact that he got his ass kicked in the hangout with me is not really the point. The point is that the headmaster was allowing him to do the balanced opposing view, which is compliance with what the rules say. And I didn't realize it back then because I didn't know that the rule existed. But now I do know that the rule exists. I've got to give kudos to the head teacher of the school, whatever school Conspiracy Cats worked at, because that guy's complied with the law. And I didn't realize that there was even a law in place at the time, but now I do. I realized that Conspiracy Cats was just he was applying that rule that he probably didn't even know existed, but the headmaster obviously did. So kudos to the headmaster of Conspiracy Cats old school, whatever school that is, because he obviously knew the rules and he was allowing the fair, balanced presentation of the opposing view.
Well, as much as I understand why you're giving him kudos, surely that's just doing his job, right?
No, not really. There's no obligation on the teacher to do this.
No, the headmaster.
Correct. Yeah. Well, it's not that he's just doing his job. It's that he's clearly observing or paying attention to the opposing view. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Everybody gets taught the heliocentric view as fact, regardless of whether it's fact or not. It's just enshrined in the education system that it is what it is. I wouldn't expect most head teachers to accommodate this request of Conspiracy Cats, because why would you? Unless you've got a legal duty to do so and you're aware that you have the duty to do so, then you must. But I thought it was just like just being like pandering to the needs of the minority kind of thing. I didn't think that he was doing it because he had to. But now I look back and realize that the headmaster, he has to do this. And that's the reason why he did it. So, yeah, it does deserve kudos. He is just doing his job, but realizing that his job involves paying attention to what the law states. That is credit worthy, because I don't think most headmasters would even bother with it. They'll just think, nah, they will not, whatever reason, insert suitable reason not to. And then it wouldn't have happened. So it is kudos, definitely. Not for Conspiracy Cats, but for the headmaster allowing it, being done on the official school channel. And I can't see any way other than that is worthy of credit.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I mean, it seems to me as though he's just covering his own skin. In other words, if he hadn't have done it, he could potentially get in trouble. So, I mean, as much as you're giving him kudos because it's great news for you, it's obviously shown you an in. That's great, but wouldn't that just be covering your own back?
Yeah, but if we don't know that the law exists, he's never gonna. He might be taking the gamble, but it's a safe bet to take that we're all stupid, right? And let's be honest, most people. I mean, myself included, most people would not think that there might be a rule there somewhere that gives us an in. And I never even thought about it. It was only because of my GoFundMe that's given me access to the legal databases that when I've been researching the topic from different perspectives, I've realized that there's a particular law that indeed gives us the in. Now, if that wasn't there, if that GoFundMe didn't happen, I wouldn't know about it. And he could have gambled, took the chance and said, no, you're not doing it because the dickheads, and basically not do it. But that would have been breaching the rules. But nobody would have realized the rules were breached because nobody would have known that the rule was there. But now we do know that the rule's there because the GoFundMe has given me the access to the databases, which I'm researching and finding out the rules. Now we know that rule is there. We can see that he's complied with it. But now we can test that rule to see whether other people comply with it or not. And I've got a sneaky feeling.
I totally disagree. If you conscientious headmaster, you're going to look into the rules and regulations when something like this arises, see that you are obliged, and then you're just going to do your due diligence, carry out your duty as you would anyway. And if the converse was true, so you're like, well, we didn't know, and we do now, well, I see that as totally organic, so you would have come to this information anyway. And had it been the case that he didn't do what he did, and again I'm talking about the head teacher, then he'd be in a position where you could literally approach him and say, why didn't you? And then he'd be in trouble. Literally, he'd be in breach of law. There could be a case brought against him. So I don't know, maybe I'm being unnecessarily harsh because the guy's done his due diligence and you want to just give him kudos for that, but I just see it as him doing his job. That's how it should be, right?
Yeah, but doing your job and knowing that what the job's supposed to be is two different things. I know that Conspiracy Cats is aware of this particular piece of legislation because they have other elements of like diversity classes. They've got special names for them, and it deals with this type of off-curricular topic. So I know that they do apply it, and it is something that they do apply, but it's a case of, well, where do you draw the line between something that might be off topic and outside of the curriculum and just being a waste of everybody's time? And I'm surprised that I wouldn't be surprised if more head teachers did classify flat earth as a waste of everybody's time and drew the line in the sand in the wrong place. So no, he does deserve kudos because he hasn't done the wrong thing. He has done the right thing, but he needed to know that that was there for it to be done. If he didn't know it was there, it wouldn't be done. Or if he did know it was there and took a gamble, it wouldn't be done. But nonetheless, it's our ignorance as flat earthers not realizing that there's the rules there that benefit us, that we can utilize this. So yeah, I see what you're saying, that he's only doing his job. But doing his job properly is different to just doing his job, because most people will excuse him for saying, well, I wouldn't entertain flat earthers neither, but he's still doing his job.
Okay, well, just so we keep this stream concise, can you just explain for the audience's benefit and anybody watching in the rerun, share and subscribe, by the way, what the actual legislation is, and then I'll round out this show.
It comes from the Education Act 1996, and it's section 407, subsection 1. 407, subsection 1 reads, the governing body, the local authority, and the head teacher must take all such reasonable steps that are practicable to secure that where political issues, flat earth, are brought to the attention of pupils whilst they are in attendance at the main school, they are offered a balanced presentation of opposing views. And that's the legislation, section 407, subsection 1 of the Education Act 1996. And we would not have known that existed if it hadn't been for the GoFundMe that allowed me to get the access to the legal databases that unlock everything. And now I've got that, and I'm working my way around it. I realised that the Conspiracy Cat's headmaster did actually comply with the rules, much against what I expected, to be honest. But we're going to be testing that in the coming weeks to see what other schools comply with it and which ones don't. And it's going to get really interesting. So shout out to Roxanne and her Globalist Denier channel and the guys that did the around the UK tour in the tour bus. And obviously shout out for yourself, Nathan, because you're allowing this kind of stuff to go on the debate channel, because it is important. It's like developments. And to be honest, we're definitely becoming more of a force now, because we're getting I think that we're getting our arguments more and more concise and precise as each day goes by. And long may it continue.
Excellent. Well, with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a massive, huge thank you to you, Anthony, for making this discussion possible and putting the information out to the public. Thank you very much.
Yay.
And of course, a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this discussion. If you hated it, well, you know exactly what to do. But if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!